don't know whether that made it into editing or not.
I was gonna say, I was gonna start recording for you.
Hi guys, how y'all doing? So it's the is it traditional now, the night before the race vlog? I think it is. I've done a few more than a few of these now. So I've been a bit of a mess this week, from the intermittent vlogging that I've done. Because this whole journey has been an emotional and physical roller coaster, but definitely far more of an emotional roller coaster. It's been very eye-opening into parts of me I didn't want to look at before. Very going to places, especially when you're putting in a lot of miles and you're really hurting. Like you really question a lot of things about yourself and what you're doing, where you come from, and why you're sitting on a bike trainer, looking at your own reflection in sweat after being on there for 4 hours. But it's also brought me to some pretty amazing realizations as well. That the fact that I can even consider putting together 140.6 miles tomorrow, that's a huge thing, just to be able to even consider it. And something that when I started this, I didn't think I was going to be able to do. That I straight up did not think it was going to happen. I think the 70.3 I was always fairly confident that I could master at some point, but the full distance, I never ever sort of thought about that, and yet I signed up for it, and here I am on the other side of the world, in a hotel room with my guts freaking out a little bit. Gonna be getting up in 8 hours, and then shortly a few hours after that, gonna be diving into some water and swimming 2.4 miles, and then jumping on a bike and going through 3 windy laps of an island, to get out and get a lot of mileage on the bike and do 112 miles on the bike, and then go out and hopefully run at least most of my first ever marathon, because I've kind of done the others. Like I realize it, I've only done one of these legs before. Like I've done the bike. I've done three rides where I've covered off the mileage that we're covering off tomorrow. But I've never run 26.2 miles. Closest I was at 42.2 kilometers. The closest I've done is, I think it was 28 Ks around. Then the swim, I've done 3 Ks, but usually with a bit of a break in between each kilometer or part of it. So yeah, it's going to be interesting putting it all together. So yeah, anyway. But anyway, so mindless wanderings then for a second. So, yesterday I was a bit of a mess again. Was definitely over emotional. But it was still kind of good though. We did a few things. We went for a swim in the morning yesterday. Wait, did I do it yesterday morning? Yes, I did. Yeah, I did a short swim yesterday morning. And then last night was a charity run. Then we sort of had to went off the athlete briefing. The athlete briefing was interesting. A lot of fun. Met the head referee. That was interesting. And yeah, definitely racing as a diabetic is interesting. Especially when apparently so few actually reach out to the officials and actually try to organise stuff. Maybe I'm the only one that does stuff with the pump. I don't know. But I did afterwards was the charity run. So the Kona has the Kona underpants run, underwear run. Cozumel actually has the same thing as well. This has been around for 8 years, and it's all the entry fee and all the proceeds from. It's like it's a 1.5 kilometer run. It's like you run from Senior Frogs to the cruise terminal and back. It works out to be just over about 1.5 k's. And all the money raised, 100% of all the money that you raise for your entry fee gets donated to charity. And there's all these prizes and stuff that get done as well. And yeah, it was fun to actually be part of that. Anyway, we go down to the start of that. There's a guy there lining up, and I just happened to glance at his shoulder, and I see this little white thing on his arm. And I realised that's an Omnipod, which is a type of insulin pump. And I'm like, oh my god, type 1. Yeah, because Omnipods are sort of, they're there and they don't have to be removed. So, they're sort of self-contained units. I don't think they're in Australia, or if they are, they're very rare in Australia. But yeah, so I was like, oh yeah, but because I know so many American European diabetics, I'm sort of like, hey, cool, Omnipod. And yeah, we sort of short shit for a few minutes about the race and racing as a type 1 and stuff like that, and that's cool. But then I've realised that I seem to be fairly unique with the fact that I do proactively make a lot of details about how I manage the pump and stuff like that in transitions or whatever. So I don't know if that's a good thing, bad thing. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so we did the charity run. That was cool. Then afterwards, we sort of had some dinner and sort of stick around for their presentations and whatever. They did give out some like raffle prizes and stuff, and catching up with a few people. Excuse me. It's late on race day. It's been exhausting. It's been exhausting for months. Anyway, got to chat to Susan Haig, who tomorrow, when she races Cozumel tomorrow, it'll be her 117th iron distance triathlon. Like, holy crap, this one was amazing. So yeah, got to chat with her and talk about swap some stories with her and catch up with some other people. Because somehow I ended up running a Facebook group for athletes and Sherpas for Cozumel here. Don't ask me how, but I did. So yeah, we sort of organised a bit of a meet there and whatever. That wasn't too bad. That was pretty good. And then after that, back here, we get some sleep. And this morning was supposed to be the official swim. However, the official swim was cancelled due to the wind warnings. The wind's dying down from what it was earlier in the week, but it's still pretty low, it's still pretty heavy. So they cancelled the official swim, so I went out, I did a ride this morning, just a sort of final shakedown ride of the bike, make sure everything was alright. Which it wasn't actually, which is interesting. Yeah, it's just the wheels, turns out the wheels weren't aligned to the rear back wheels, and my derailleur wasn't aligned properly from when I put the bike back together. But yeah, I wasn't quite sure what was going on, so I was like, so I only did 10Ks, which is all I had on the program, so it wasn't, just something didn't feel right about the bike. So when I ended up taking it down to transition this morning to do bike checking at T1, had all the mechanical crew there, so I sort of chatted to them, and he sort of like, yeah, cool, he showed me what it was. Basically just reseated the front and rear wheels for me, and everything was spot on, it was perfect, great. And that was something else different as well, like just racking in T1, and it was funny because I was a bundle of nerves, and I feel sorry for April having to deal with me and my nervous, grumbly self. But it was funny actually that once I actually put that bike on the rack, and it was there, and it was done, and I've hung my bike gear bag up. Because it's not like your local sort of sprint tries or even 7.3s, where you can actually sort of, you lay everything out beside your bike, you know, on race or whatever. No, you've got gear bags, change sets and stuff. So, hung up, wrapped the bike, and then hung up the bag, and then, yeah, done. Weird. Kind of felt this a lot more relief. Still had to drop my, I then went into town and dropped my run gear bag off. But before that was, I had a chat to the race referee again and the transition directors, and we got talking about, you know, how we're going to manage the cases that I use for my insulin stuff. And because this time around they don't actually have a medical tent in either transition, in either T1 or T2. They don't have one. They've got medics on hand, but they don't have a medical tent. In that, they've only got a change tent. So we had to work out how they were going to manage that, and like where we're going to drop stuff off and whatever. But so ended up getting a reasonably good solution that I'm happy with, which is that I hand them over at the swim start rather than the T1. Marked for which one's going to T1, which one's going to T2, and they will meet me at the change tents at each transition, which is really, really good. So, yeah, hopefully that all works out, because if the wrong one goes to the wrong transition, then my race is going to come to a grinding halt very, very quickly, which is not going to be good. But anyway, we'll see. Hopefully. So that was that, and then wandered into town, met up with April and with Megan and Liz, who is Megan Sherpa. So Megan is in Team SOAS. So as many of you know, I race with Team Hanson. Hanson Racing is one of my sponsors. So I race in their kit, and she's part of the SOAS, which is the women's brand, one of their ambassadors. So we've been doing some training together since we've been here, and got to catch up with her, and we had lunch together, and that was really fun, really good, and just again as I said, just a bit more relaxed, and just this afternoon was make sure my goggles were fine, everything's here. I hope it is. I hope everything were in the bags, because if they're not, it's literally too late now, because I can't access those bags until on race day. Until actually on the race course, and then we had a nice dinner with April, and she's blue-being beside me right now, and that's it. I'm exhausted. Apparently my lack of fibre early in the week has changed. I've got plenty of fibre in my diet now. You probably didn't need to know that, but anyway. But yeah, it's been one hell of a journey getting here. And something else that, and again, I've realised now that all these are going to be going like way after like the actual date. So sorry in advance, but you know, I actually just sort of posted as I was thinking about a few things and mind wandering as it does. And you know, I'm not going to say that I'm calm or relaxed or anything, but we're not relaxed, but you know, I'm less stressed. And some of it is down to sort of like, you know, a bit of a sense of inevitability kind of thing, I don't know. But also it's been good that just realising that whether things seem good or bad, they all have an important lesson to teach you, or maybe not a lesson, maybe not even a lesson to teach you. They have an important part to play in your life and your life's journey, even if you don't see it at the time. And that can be, and acknowledging that and understanding that is actually a really, really important part of growing as in your life, and realizing that, you know, things can be important, but they also don't have to be with you. If that makes sense, probably not, but anyway. So yeah, what I'm basically trying to say is things happen. You may not know why or what cause they'll have in it, but they will play a big part in your life. It may not be straight away, it may be further down the track, it may be some moment you'll realise that, hey, what set me on this path to, you know, improving myself was this tiny little insignificant thing that seemed crushingly awful at the time. And yet it was actually one of the biggest positives you'll ever have. So, yeah, that's my little philosophy idea for the day. Anyway, I'm rambling because I'm tired and I need to get some sleep before the big dance in the morning. So, I have no doubt that April will make sure that I vlog in the morning, as I believe she's included it now as part of her Sherpa duties, to make sure I vlog. Yes?
Okay.
Yes.
And so yeah, I will catch you guys in the morning so I'm going to get some sleep. Bye!